What is going on, YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. That is my nickname. I appreciate you guys for watching today. Be sure to smash this like button right now, as it does help these videos get to the public and the channel to grow. Subscribe to this channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly, and almost every single day if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you don't miss a single video that gets posted. It's only right you guys do not get caught lacking in these streets, okay? Yes, I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to surprise some people in 2019-2020. I really like this roster. I think they are so underrated, and I really do think they potentially are a dark horse Super Bowl contender. I really do. I firmly believe that. And by the way, big shout out to all you guys that watch my San Francisco 49ers team preview and record prediction video. If you want to check that out, be sure to check that out. I'll put a link in the description for the playlist that video is on. I had the 49ers going 10-6. I still have them going 10-6. I do think the 49ers will win 10 games this year. Be sure to check that video out on my channel. I appreciate you guys for watching that video. That video is almost up to 1,000 views. If we can get that video to 1,000 views, that'd be lit, okay? I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to make the playoffs this year, and I'm leaning toward picking them to win their division. Now, obviously, I'm gonna make predictions videos later down the road and things like that. But again, I do think the San Francisco 49ers will find themselves in the playoffs either through a wild card or winning their division in 2019-2020. I really do believe that. I get the Rams are a hot pick. They just made the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks always are going to be in it if they have Russell Wilson. Excuse me. And I get it, but I really just like the makeup of this San Francisco 49ers team. I really do think they have the tools and pieces to compete with some of the better teams in the NFC, and I really do think they will be the surprise team this year. And one of the reasons why is because Jimmy G is coming back, obviously. Like I said, I think Jimmy G is a pretty good quarterback. Now, obviously, he has only played in 10 career games. I get it. We have not seen him play for a full season. He has struggled to stay healthy, So I'm basically, projecting that I think Jimmy G is going to have a good year. But based on the small sample size we have, Jimmy G has had, he's played very well in the games that he's started, okay? He's 8-2 in his career in games he started in the National Football League, okay? 8-2. And most importantly, he is 6-2 with this San Francisco 49ers team. And most of the time when Jimmy G was playing those games in a 49ers uniform, the San Francisco 49ers were usually not the best team on the field. He elevated this team. So I really do think Jimmy G has promise and talent. And throughout his career, Jimmy G has 17 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions, okay? And he's completed over 65% of his passes. And most importantly, 8.2 yards per attempt, guys. That's a very high number for a quarterback. That tells you that he throws the ball consistently down the field. He will fit the ball into tight windows. He's not afraid to, take some shots down the field. He's accurate. He's big. He's mobile. I think Jimmy G, if he stays healthy, has the tools to be a very good quarterback in the National Football League, okay? I think he's definitely a well above average quarterback right now, okay? I really do think that Kyle Shanahan as the head coach is the perfect pairing for Jimmy G. Kyle Shanahan, to me, is one of the most underrated play callers in all of football. He is excellent at creating great game plans and scheming players open, and creating mismatches, okay? Kyle Shanahan, he's a former offensive coordinator. He knows the ins and outs of football. He knows the ins and outs of the schematics of football. He is going to be able to get the best out of Jimmy G and the wide receivers and running backs that the San Francisco 49ers have in place. He's going to be able to create game plans. He's going to be able to dissect defenses and come up with great, amazing game plans. I think that Kyle Shanahan is going to be a very good head coach down the road, especially now that Jimmy G is healthy. Last year, the San Francisco 49ers only won 4 games, okay? The reason why was because Jimmy G, he got injured, okay? He was out for pretty much the whole season, okay? He got injured in week 3, never came back. But this year, Jimmy G is fully healthy. I expect Kyle Shanahan to be able to lead this football team to some victories, okay? And I really look at this 49ers offense, and I do think the offense is very, very underrated. They went out and made some moves in free agency, okay? In free agency, they added Tevin Coleman to their team. He's a very good running back. He definitely should add to their running back group. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's very good at running, between the tackles when he needs to. He's great at going to the outside and running. Tevin Coleman's a very versatile running back, okay? I really like him. He's their best running back on their depth chart. He's going to add to Jerick McKinnon, who already is a great pass catcher out of the backfield and shows some very good promise these past couple years. And Matt Breida. Matt Breida is a capable starting running back. He's probably potentially going to be the 3rd running back on this depth chart. So that is 3 running backs right there that the San Francisco 49ers can throw at you. Okay, that's about 3 running backs they can, create game plans for, create mismatches for out the backfield. So the San Francisco 49ers are going to be able to run the football. And in free agency, they added a player like Jordan Matthews. Okay, Jordan Matthews is a very solid wide receiver. Never quite broke through in Philadelphia, but I do think his role will be expanded in San Francisco. And I think that Kyle Shanahan can get the best out of him, because I do think that Kyle Shanahan is going to scheme up some things where Jordan Matthews is going to get open and have mismatches. Okay, I really do. And they also have Dante Pettis, who's a very promising rookie last year. He obviously didn't really break out the way I thought he would have. But again, last year, Jimmy G was hurt pretty much all of last year. It was pretty much, him backups throwing him the football. He didn't have the great quarterback to, give him the football last year. And he still averaged 17 yards per catch last year. So he's a big play wide receiver. I think that Dante Pettis has the potential to break out this year. Marquise Goodwin, he's definitely going to benefit from Jimmy G. He's a burner. He can get down the field vertically and stretch the field. I think that opens up this offense, okay? And the San Francisco 49ers also drafted Deebo Samuel out of South Carolina, a guy that can play in the slot, a guy that can play on the outside if he needs to. He's a very good wide receiver that is great after the catch. He's a tough wide receiver that refuses to go down. He's hard to tackle. He will definitely be excellent in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And I think Jimmy G's gonna love throwing to Deebo Samuel on third down. He's gonna love throwing to Deebo Samuel in these short yardage situations on third down. I think Deebo Samuel fits in perfectly with the 49ers. He does have some injury concerns, but again, I do think that he'll fit in pretty nicely. They also drafted a 6'5" wide receiver out of Baylor named Jalen Hurd, and it's been reportedly that he's, turning some heads in training camp. So he might be the steal to draft, guys. You got a 6'5" wide receiver, that Jimmy G can throw to, that Kyle Shanahan can work with and create mismatches for. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowl type player, but I definitely do think he will contribute this year. And while I do think the 49ers, lack that dominant number one wide receiver, I really do think that's actually a blessing in disguise, because, when you got Odell Beckham Jr., when you got a Julio Jones, when you got a Michael Thomas, you kind of feel like you need to feed him the ball. And now that the 49ers don't really have that big established number one guy, these wide receivers are very good, don't get me wrong, but none of them are, undisputed go-to number one wide receivers. So as a result, because they don't have to feel they need to force feed a wide receiver this year, I just think Jimmy G is going to look to and find the open man. And I'm sorry, I really should have mentioned this guy a lot earlier in the video, but George Kittle to me is a game breaker. Okay, he's arguably one of the three best tight ends in all of football. He's definitely going to be very, very good this upcoming season. He had 88 catches last year and almost 1,400 yards at the tight end position. He's one of the faster tight ends in all of football. Jimmy G will love throwing to George Kittle, and George Kittle will continue to go up and, be a breakout star in this National Football League. Okay, the guy is a very good player. And again, this offensive line is pretty underrated as well. It's not an elite offensive line. It's not a terrible offensive line. It's somewhere in the middle, but I do think it's slightly above average. The offensive line is really coming around. They have some young players on that line. They have some veteran players on that offensive line. A good mix of veteran players, a good mix of young players. So I do think the San Francisco 49ers offensive line will be able to block enough for Jimmy G and be able to protect him just enough. And I think that Kyle Shanahan's schemes will definitely help that offensive line in the process as well. And while I just raved about the offense so much, I really do. I firmly believe the reason the San Francisco 49ers are going to really take this huge, big leap this year is because of this 49ers defense. Yes, I am all in on this San Francisco 49ers defense being a top 10 defense in all of football. DeForest Buckner on the defensive line, a D tackle that had 12 sacks last year. D Ford, who they added in the offseason, to rush the passer off the edge. He had 13 sacks last year. He's a great young ascending player. He's going to absolutely ball out in this scheme, okay? And Nick Bosa out of Ohio State. Now, Nick Bosa is dealing with some ankle injuries, but again, when Nick Bosa's on the field, he's a special player. You pair him with D Ford if he's healthy, man oh man, Nick Bosa, D Ford, and DeForest Buckner trying to get after the quarterback. I mean, that's a scary sight. The 49ers defensive line is one of the top 5 defensive lines in all of football. They still have Armstead, who's a very good player. Armstead's a very underrated player. And Solomon Thomas as well. Solomon Thomas has not quite panned out, the way that the 49ers hoped that he would when they drafted him. But again, this year, he's going to have a limited role, and he will also kind of move to the inside, which is kind of where he played in college, okay? And, he's really been just playing on the outside mainly throughout his entire NFL career. And while Solomon Thomas can play on the outside, his best role is suited to be in the interior trying to get to the passer. That's his natural role. That's where he played in college, okay? He's kind of on his way to becoming a bust based on where he was drafted. But again, I think Solomon Thomas will have a solid year this year. And the 49ers also addressed the middle linebacker position in free agency, guys. They went out and added Quan Alexander from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a Pro Bowl level player. He's going to absolutely be a great player for this defense. He'll make plays for this defense. I think he's a stud, and I think he's going to start in this 49ers defense. But also in the secondary, they went out and added a quarterback like Jason Verrett. I think he's the perfect complement to one Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman is still one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. He just doesn't get a whole lot of action because, well, people don't throw to him, okay? He's obviously not the same player he was in Seattle, but Richard Sherman is still one of the, I wouldn't say 5 or 6. He's definitely one of the 6 or 7 best quarterbacks in all of football. He's still making plays at even the age he's at, guys. He's a very good, savvy player. Don't test Richard Sherman because he will make you pay still even to this day. Richard Sherman is still a very good player, okay? And this defense was middle of the road last year, guys. And they added all these players. The defensive line's better. The linebackers are better. The secondary's better. I expect the San Francisco 49ers to get after teams. I expect their pass rush to absolutely get after quarterbacks. They will be a top 10 defense this year. And again, I really do think this division is pretty much, wide open, guys. I really do. I think this division is going to be wide open. When I look at the Los Angeles Rams, I do believe they are still Super Bowl contenders. I get it. They're going to be a good team. They're a talented team. But I think they do take a step back this year, okay, for a couple reasons. For one, I just don't like their depth, okay? I think they lost some key players last year that contributed. I just think that they don't have a whole lot of depth for when key players get hurt. They won't be able to really replace them because I don't think they have enough depth on their team. And Todd Gurley last year, look, Todd Gurley is a dynamic player. But Todd Gurley really showed some concerning issues last year. Toward the end of the season, Todd Gurley looked hobbled, okay? He looked shot. He looked like he couldn't really get through the rest of the season, okay? Can they manage his load? Can Todd Gurley, continue to stay healthy down the stretch, especially in the stretch run when the Rams will need him in the latter part of the season? Because this NFC conference is loaded, guys. I mean, you got teams in the NFC North that are good. You got the NFC South that has about 3 or 4 good teams. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. You got the Dallas Cowboys. You got so many great teams. And the Rams also lost Ndamukong Suh this year. And I get it. Ndamukong Suh in the regular season, he's kind of a lazy player. But the Rams would not have gotten to the Super Bowl, guys, if Ndamukong Suh was not on that team. He definitely helps that team. He's a solid player. Just his presence alone helps his team. They still got Aaron Donald, but again, I question their linebackers. I question their edge rushers. And last year, they won a lot of close games. Okay, so again, the Rams naturally are going to take a step back just because they lost the Super Bowl, in my opinion, okay? The only team that I think that really, you can bet on saying the Super Bowl loss and hangover is not going to affect them is the New England Patriots because they've been through it so many times. The Rams, I wonder how they are going to respond after a bad Super Bowl loss. Usually teams that lose the Super Bowl the very next year, potentially don't make the playoffs or they really decrease their winning percentage from a year ago. And, their offensive line is kind of old and their schedule's brutal. Their schedule's very hard. And I look at Seattle. I think Seattle's kind of in a little bit of a retooling year. They lost some key players. How long can Russell Wilson carry this team? Listen, Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. You are going to have a chance to make the playoffs every time he steps on the field. Russell Wilson, to me, is one of the 3 best quarterbacks in all of football. He does not get enough credit for how good he is. He has dragged this sorry Seattle team to the playoffs these past couple years, okay? But when I look at Seattle, I just don't know how much you can maximize the talent on this team. They don't have a whole lot of stars. They have Russell Wilson. They have Bobby Wagner. Other than that, who are the perennial stars of this team? Schematics and coaching can only take you so far in this league. Playing above your heads is only going to take you so far in this league. I just think the Seattle Seahawks lack game changers on both sides of the football other than Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. I do think DK Metcalf is going to have a very good year, but I just think Seattle's kind of in a little bit of a retooling year. They're not the most talented team in this division. The 49ers, to me, have a more talented roster than them. And when we look at the Cardinals, yes, the Cardinals are going to be improved. I like Kyler Murray. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. But again, you were picking #1 overall in the draft for a reason. You do not fix all those issues in one season, okay? So again, I'm high on the 49ers. They will make the playoffs this year. That's my bold prediction. The San Francisco 49ers are going to make the playoffs. You got Jimmy G. You got good running backs. You got a solid offensive line. You got a great defensive line. You got good linebackers. You got solid wide receivers. A very elite tight end. A very good young, bright, ascending head coach. Okay? The division's wide open. I do think the 49ers will take advantage of that wide open window and opportunity in this division. I think the 49ers surprise some people. I think they're a good team. I think they make the playoffs this year. I think the 49ers are a dark horse Super Bowl contender in 2019-2020. Jimmy G will ball out, and this team will make the playoffs and even potentially win their division. Be sure to comment where you agree with me and where you disagree with me. Do you think the 49ers are going to be good this year, or do you think they'll be flat out trash? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? Or potentially if it doesn't, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, get other people hip to this channel, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God bless day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.